Now we will ask, how do computers fit in with the world around them? Computers are everywhere and they are getting smaller and more powerful. So how do they work in relation to programs? Computers create models of the world using data. They need to be told what things are models. Programmers create these models for the computers. Programmers make these models using data. The computer needs the data in order to follow instructions that are given to it. In programming, each physical thing in the world can be represented as objects. There can be many types of objects. Each object can have its own properties, events, and methods. When you have an object, it is called an instance of that object. You can have more than one instance of an object. Properties are the characteristics of an object. Each person has a name and a value. These pairs tell you something about the individual instance of that object. Interacting with objects can change the values of the properties of the objects. This happens from events. There are common ways in which people interact with each type of object. If they are using a car, they may press the gas pedal to go faster or the brake to slow down. These are events. An event is the computer's way of sticking up its hand and saying, "Hey, this just happened." Programmers choose which events to respond to. Specific events can trigger different pieces of code, such as pressing a button will be an event, and the button press is a trigger. Methods represent the things people need to do with objects. They can get or update the values of an object's properties. Methods can tell you something about an object, using the information stored in its properties. It can also change the value of the object's properties. The code for a method can contain lots of instructions that represent a single task. One way to think of a method is that you just need to know how to ask the question and interpret its response. You don't always need to know how it achieves that task. Updating your car registration online uses a method somewhere in that program. It updates your status to paid and registration valid. We don't know how that works, but we can see the results of it. Web browsers are programs built using objects. There is the window object. The browser represents each window or tab using a window object. The location property tells the browser the current page's URL. The document object. The current page loaded into these windows uses the document object. The title property of the document object tells you what is between the title tag for that web page. This document object represents an HTML page. Using the document object, you can access and change the content users see on the page and respond to how they interact with it. Web browser gets the HTML code. It then creates a model of the page in memory. Finally, it uses a rendering engine to show that page on the screen. All browsers use a JavaScript interpreter to translate your JavaScript code into instructions the computer can follow.